Okay, let's try the whatchamacall. How do I see my pages? Do I still manage? Uh-oh. Let's see. Oh my god. Okay. That's frozen somehow. Why am I frozen? Let's test this latency. Let's see if this is actually working. Check, 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 check. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009, 1010, 11, 1012, 1013, 1014, 1015, 1016, 1017, 1018, 1019, 1000. Wow, that's quite a bit. Okay, but at least it's working, so good. Okay, so welcome to dropping in a pipeline audio number 34. And I didn't even know what this was I was gonna have to mess with this, but first of all, what is this? Gray badges will be removed October 29. It's a really ominous thing, so I'm gonna click learn more. This content is no longer available. Good job again, Facebook. Always such a good job. If anybody knows anybody at Facebook, I'd love to talk to them one of these days. But oh well. But anyway, so here we are. I don't have any guests. I still haven't gotten Jim Roseberry on. Things are gonna be a little bit noisy as usual. Check it out. I have a see, there's a band sitting in there. So there's gonna be a little bit of bleed, and yeah, there's still an overhead light, so my head is gonna be shiny, so Rob can make fun of me. That's what I have today. Just some ranty stuff. First of all, development on my plugin is delayed for a couple days. Hopefully it's not going to be much longer before we get the betas out. I still do need some more beta people. I'd love to have kind of a big dog from every forum. I know some of the forums are nuts and I actually don't want to have them maybe, but if you want in, if you mix drums a lot, let me know. I'll try and get you on there. I don't want to think about the plugin stuff. It makes me very stressed out. And I know it's not my money that's being spent, so I know it's a lot more stressful for somebody else, but it's still stressful. I mean, I've been thinking some of these things I've been trying to get out for 20 years now, so I'm trying. We're in that hurry up and wait mode, which I always love, man. That's always the most torturous. Hurry up and wait, you know. Living here, you kind of get used to Sitz Creek, so I guess that's helping me a little bit. But if you are a GUI expert, or GUI, or however you want to say it, especially if you're a GUI expert in Juice, let me know. I could really use your help. I think our guys actually got a hold of it, but I could use some help. I'm not that good at coming up with the concepts to make things simple, and I really don't want people to have to open manuals, and just want it intuitive and informative. Mike says interactive. Okay, so today our Operation 7.5 played the Pride show here in the Waikiki Shell. It's a pretty big place, which is pretty awesome. It's a short set. You know, I would love to hear from somebody about actually tailoring the set for the crowd. I think yeah, it's always tricky to think what is this crowd gonna want, you know. And I know like our kids are getting more hipstery, so they're getting more into the depressing stuff. And I don't know, maybe that's the right thing for that crowd, maybe not. I don't. And we had another one of our bands. Actually, they played their first time in front of people at my birthday party a couple weeks ago. Well, it feels like a year ago now, but that really wasn't. That was just like last 2 weeks ago. But they played their first real show, not here at the school tonight at the Poetry Bodega. I think they're still playing right now, actually. I got to try the Kohls, whatever that Kohls Ribbon mic is. We have the big ribbon thing. It's a Kohls Ribbon mic. Got to try it out on some rap vocals tonight, and worked out real good. I used not a cloud lifter, but it is a. Well, I'm really going blind. I'm supposed to wear glasses now. I don't know if you can see that. Cathedral Pipes, Durham with XMB technology, some kind of phantom powered. It's like a cloud lifter thing. Just makes the mic. It's a preamp that you put next to the mic. And yeah, speaking of which, we were having a bunch of arguments on whether those things could work. Like, seems to me that no matter what, those things are going to add more noise than if you didn't have them, right? Unless your mic preamp gets really crappy near the top end of its range. And then I could see that maybe having something louder earlier on down the line would result in less overall noise. Well, I'm not sure. I mean, is the relationship of noise to gain all of a sudden nonlinear, where it gets worse the more you turn it up, or does it go the other way? I don't know. I'd actually love to hear that from people who actually know that kind of thing. Anyway, I had that on there and it worked fine. Seemed to be fine. Maybe it distorted a little bit, but I expect that out of ribbons. I know you guys all think that ribbons are perfect and magical things and they can't do anything wrong, but no, I expect them to distort a little bit. But no, it sounded good. That was actually kind of awesome. Out of the blue, a rapper called today, I think. We did some rap stuff last night, I think. No, Thursday night, and we used the Sony C100. It's kind of a screwy looking mic. It's got a small diaphragm and a large diaphragm in the same capsule. I don't know. Works real good. I'm getting these weird whizzer looking things on the low end. And I don't know if it's something to do with my isolation booth or if the mic actually does it. I saw it when he was... Actually, I've been seeing it a lot on some of this stuff. I think I might have some error in some of my electronics we have to talk about later. Yeah. So I know I'm always ranting on the same stuff about, stupid hype and idiotic religious beliefs in audio about magical cables and magical tubes and magical mics and all this other stuff, but the hype stuff drives me nuts. I was watching. I don't know how I end up. I'm not subscribed to it, but it always ends up in my feed. This Daryl Braun guitars. I think there's good stuff on here. Maybe I'll watch some good stuff. But usually it's just like, it's typical hype kind of stuff, right? So this one is called Fender versus PRS. Is the Strat still king? Hold on, sorry guys. Let me fix this real quick. My relay chat, somebody says it's not working, so let's see. Try this again. Type in testing the relay. Try it again, okay? Testing the relay. And let's see if that ends up. Yeah, it ends up on my stream. It's ending up on the restream. I don't know if it's ending up in YouTube or Facebook or whatever. I guess you guys can let me know if that works. Oh yeah, no, it looks like there. I see it on Facebook. Okay, so anyway, so this one that says Fender versus PRS, is the Strat still king? That's one of those like begging the question things, like when did you stop beating your wife? So you know, of course, I wrote king of what? Noisy guitar, missing a few frets, and usually costs too much. Crappy bolt-on neck. What parameters are we judging king by? And I'm serious. I know so many people think there's something magical about Gibsons and Fenders, like they're made out of some kind of wood that you can't get someplace else, or they're built in a way that nobody else can build it. I don't know what people are talking about, man. I mean, there's so many knockoffs of those things that are built exactly the same anyway. I mean, what are you talking about? What's so magical about this thing? I mean, I really don't like it. I want 24 frets. Sorry, but I know that's not for everybody. I don't want that stupid giant block when I'm trying to go up to the upper frets. That sucks. I'll take a neck through body any day. I know the bolt-on's gonna be lighter probably, but that's the only advantage to me. And then, you know, the difference between like a cheap Strat and an expensive Strat, I must be a total noob at playing guitar or something. Like, they're really not functionally that different. Maybe they're made out of better metals. I mean, once you get to a certain point where the things actually work, why should one cost $10,000? Give me a break. But what does it cost to take your guitar to a Plek machine or a good Luther? You know, like I really think when it comes to guitars, like the playability, it's all in your frets. It's just like back in the day, the speed of your motor on your car, it all came down to your heads. If your heads flowed well, your chances are, and that's gonna be your limiting factor. If your frets are done right and they're straight and flat, I don't know what do you get for your extra $5 billion on these whatever special magical unobtainium Fender whatchamacallits. I don't even get it. So, you know, what makes it a king? You know, what is it? So, you know, in fact, in this comparison, I'm pretty sure I'd take the PRS any day. It's probably gonna be a straighter guitar, flatter fretboard. That's the other thing. I don't like the neck profiles. I mean, you might, but king of what? Anybody can make those neck profiles, you know, whatever. So, of course, somebody, you know, I should hide this guy's name. Let's see, how do I do this? Somebody says, missing a few frets? No. Usually cost too much? Ha, 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 ha. Try Gibson. False dichotomy there, guy, but whatever. Crappy bolt-on neck? There's a reason tons of the greats use them. Imbecile. So he calls me an imbecile. Okay, so first of all, like, missing a few frets? No. Yes, it is. Maybe not in his opinion, but if I want 24 frets, doesn't have them. Usually cost too much. Ha, ha, ha. Try Gibson. False dichotomy, right? Too coquet, maybe. I didn't say anything about Gibson. I think those cost too much too, and I just said it. It's the same thing. Those magical nonsense about these two companies, right? Crappy bolt-on neck. There's a reason tons of greats use them. Argument from popularity, bandwagon fallacy. You know, go ahead, me too. So, you know, back in the day, we always used to ask, Britney Spears outsold Black Sabbath. So does that mean that Britney Spears is better than Black Sabbath? You know, it's a fallacious argument. So of course, calling me an imbecile, but, you know, not actually refuting any of my points. That's what I said. Gibson sucked nuggets too. Please give me one concrete reason why it's king of anything without using a silly fallacy like appeal to popularity. Now, this is typical when you get in, especially in audio forums, but lately I'm starting to see it on car forums, you know, because I'm more of a noob on the car forums. You know, I understand audio, but it's the same thing. You know, instead of calling me names, how about, oh, and this is going to come up in a little while when I want to talk about some arrogance, because somebody is ruining stuff, and I probably can't say very much because I may be on thin ice, and you know, guy's way too sensitive to hear it anyway. But you know, why don't you just say what the actual issue is or the problem? You know, if you think there's something good about the Fender or whatever, just tell me. Don't have to call me an imbecile. You don't need to insult people like, oh my God. I'll get into that later. Anyway, so I said, you know, it looks like he deleted a couple things. So I said, still waiting for a reason-based argument from someone who called me imbecile. Oh, the irony. He said, so I got a response from it again. It's true, you're still coming back to this. This shows how petty you are. Hey, I'm not the one who called anybody imbecile in the beginning. About pickup noise, they have noiseless pickups, which plenty of people use, but there are plenty of others who don't like how they sound and choose to deal with noisy but subjectively better sounding pickups. There's a point to that. People would riot or worse if Fender changed much of anything about the Strat. Please elaborate on your point about bolt-on necks. I doubt it's possible, but you already surprised me with your ignorance, so try and surprise me again. Okay, so first of all, you can put noiseless pickups on any guitar, or you can just use a humbucker so it doesn't sound all clanky and clinky. But I see sometimes single coils have their uses, whatever. So yeah, that's still not an argument for Fender or for expensive Strats. People would riot or worse if Fender changed much of anything about the Strat. Yeah, and here's another part about guitar players in general. You're usually dealing with the appeal to antiquity, right? They're terrified of novelty, you know. But you know that that's not a fallacy as well. Please elaborate on your point about bolt-on necks. What do I have to say? You want to deal with that stupid block right there? You want to? I mean, there's some good things about bolt-on necks that, you know, they make it easy to repair if you broke your neck. I guess you don't have to buy a new guitar. But in terms of playing them, yuck. I mean, give me a break. What do you want? You really want to have that giant block thing there that you can't get to your upper frets? I mean, what you want to worry about your neck bolt stripping and your, you know, I don't know. There's so many reliability issues with the bolt-on neck. And yes, it's true. If you break it, you could swap it out. That's the one plus, I think. I doubt it's possible because you already surprised me with your ignorance. You know, where was I ignorant up there at all anyway? So anyway. So I said, no reasonable answers, just insults. You're only digging the hole deeper. And, you know, that's typically what you're going to get. And you know, with this guy too, you know, what was this guy saying? You know, I don't know if this is one of those just stupid hype channels and things drive me nuts. I don't know. Anyway, that's your typical nonsense. So you know, we talked about what happens in the Reaper forums. You know, it's like, you know, remember we were talking. Somebody asks a technical question. It does require a technical answer. Maybe there's some other answers you can give too, but you know, the answer isn't, haha, you're stupid. You know, it doesn't hurt anybody to say, I don't know, or just don't say anything. You know, if you tell people, I don't know, often they'll help you know, you know, that's how you learn. If you go pretending you know everything, you're not going to learn anything, or people aren't going to take the time to teach you stuff. So just say, I don't know. You're not going to die by saying, I don't know. On the other hand, you see people get RTFM'd all the time. And man, you know, I had a thing where, you know, okay, I'll give you a good example. I could never find the right answer to where on your dipstick you're full on a particular Subaru model, for instance. There's different forums where they're always arguing. The factory service manual strangely didn't say anything. Go and Google it all you want, and you're not going to find much. And I know Google has become obfuscated a lot. And what do you call it? The LMGTFY, whatever. Let me Google that for you. You know, like when people go, or Google is your friend. I love it when people say Google is your friend. You're almost sure that the person is an idiot and should have just said, I don't know. So I got this giant long thread, and again, it's always my stupid flame wars, right? It's been years since flame wars, and now all of a sudden I'm doing it again. So the guy says, Google is your friend. And I said, oh yeah, really? What'd you find? He goes, so it's the first result said right on the Subaru page or something. And I go, oh yeah, really? Show me the page. You can Google it yourself, you know, and like I kept saying, hey, show me what your results were. And better yet, show me what you typed into Google to get those results. And instead of ever showing it, you know, because, and this is how you know these guys are dishonest when they say this dumb stuff. Like, I don't know what it is. You're trying to look smart in a forum by being an ass to a noob or something. And then it turns out that you're an idiot. And worse than that, it turns out that you're dishonest. So, you know, I give them every chance in the world to show it. And then I said, well, you know what? Now people can see you're a liar. You know, so just say, I don't know. But don't, you know, Google. Okay, listen. I don't know what kind of idiot planet you're from. Everybody's heard of Google by now, okay? You don't need to tell anybody to go Google something. You really don't. And if you do, you're just an ass. You know, there's no reason for that. You're just being a punk. There's no let me Google that for you. And when people, I really like on the Reaper Facebook page because the moderator, he doesn't really put up with that stuff. He'll usually let people tear into the let me Google it for you or the RTFM guys. But eventually he may step in and shut it down. And good. So I'm tired of noobs getting chased away by idiots. You know, you think you're above these noobs? You're an idiot. These noobs are saying, I don't know. They're saying, hey, I'd like some knowledge. You're a dumb, ignorant ass. And it's not, you probably don't even know. I mean, that's probably what it comes down to, right? I mean, we've had these rants about about forum idiots. Please don't hammer the noobs. We need all the new blood we can get into all this stuff. So while we're on this, some of you guys have seen some revisionist history between me and somebody who, honestly, I brought into the Reaper world and actually like a lot, but often treats me pretty bad and can be a real arrogant egomaniac. And I think you know what I'm talking about. You know, starting to erase forum posts so it looks like this is kind of a one-sided thing, like I'm arguing with myself. Let's just put it this way. And you know, we had this out with Matthias way back in the Army days, and you know, he's not this bad. We just sometimes it's a translation issue or whatever, but don't let your arrogance kill a product or kill what you're trying to do. And sometimes if there's arrogance and ignorance on a subject at the same time, things can go really bad. That happened. It's kind of why Reaper's here in a lot of ways. But you know, sometimes you just got to step back and say, hey, am I hurting this project? Just watch the arrogance. I know I'm probably going to get in a lot of trouble for this, but sorry, it has to be said. And obviously I'm not the only one saying it. There's a lot of things that depend on some level heads going into the future, and let's try and have them. You know, I apologize all the time. I always tell how much I appreciate these people. So let's just try. Listen, manufacturers, everybody involved in this kind of stuff. One of the reasons Reaper was made was because the DAWs out there were being created by people who hadn't ever been within 20 miles of a recording studio, and they're telling us how we're supposed to work. They have no idea how we're supposed to work. So again, in this case, this has more to do with the function that the people who actually have to use it for a living have a much different perspective on it than the people who might be developing it. You have certain needs that they're paramount. They're absolutely paramount. And if you don't do this for a living, and if you're not willing to listen to somebody who does it for a living, listen. They're all out there. They all want to talk to you. It's going to turn out bad. So just put away the ego and listen to the people who are going to be using it in the end. It's important. Anyway. So on another topic, this is more for my engineering team. Shout out to the Pink Fairies. Okay. So there's some news that Daybreak Games, or Sony, whoever owns that stuff now, was firing devs or letting them go. Let me see. Let me pull up this website. Sorry. So we have another round of layoffs hit PlanetSide 2 developer Daybreak Studios. Allegedly, everybody's gone but 2 guys. For you guys who know, a lot of us get together late at night. Well, I don't know. It's different time zone for everybody, and play different games or puzzles or whatever. Sometimes it's Sudoku, and sometimes it's whatever. This is a FPS we play a lot, PlanetSide. It's kind of the Reaper of video games to me. You get to talk to the developers and you watch them doing stuff in real time, and they were very interactive about things, especially when you did things with the physics that they might not like. They would modify it pretty quick. Looks like they got rid of most of their developers, and they're saying it's for a realignment or something. You can go read this news, but getting rid of all your developers doesn't sound like a realignment to me. Let's hope it is, but who knows? Okay, so another thing, for health reasons, I'm getting myself a little van that I can lay down in, and I'm still kind of deciding stuff. Speaking of forum stuff, if anybody's good at the 12-volt things, what we used to do with our Jeeps is we'd have a dual battery, so you wouldn't run down your starting battery. You could always start your car because if your motor was off, you were running on a different battery. And really, we just used a relay to do this. When the alternator was on, the relay would connect both batteries together, and when the alternator wasn't spinning, it would just take power from the auxiliary battery, and that worked really good for me. I mean, I had all my, it gives me all my regular circuits, my radio, my winch, whatever I had on the regular circuits, my headlights. I could leave my headlights on, and if they ever died, I just start up the car, and so the battery wasn't being messed with. I am probably whatever I get, it's going to be so new that it's going to have what you call now a smart alternator. And so you can't just use a continuous duty solenoid or voltage sensitive relay or whatever. You have to use something called a BCDC, or a battery to battery charger. And the way these work, I haven't. There's a company called Red Arc who seems to be it's an Australian company, pretty specialist at off-roading. I think they're from Australia. Anyway, all the Australian off-roaders talk about them anyways. They actually called me. So, hey, if you're looking for a product that Red Arc sells, I'd go buy it from them. They actually called me from Australia to answer a question. I just left an email in their thing. That was actually really awesome. But anyway, the way their circuits work and the way all these BCDC systems I've seen, your starting battery and your auxiliary battery are going to be on 2 completely different circuits. So you can't even run your regular circuits. I want to run my radio, or I want to run my dome light or something. I can't do that on the auxiliary battery. That's still going to be on the start battery. Unless somebody knows a way around this, please let me know if there is one. So that means that I'm going to have to do a auxiliary circuit, and then I guess I don't really have that much stuff that I'm going to be plugging into extra electricity. So it may even be overkill to do dual batteries, but I'm paranoid. This is all about giving me some peace of mind. So that's really what I should be doing. So first of all, I'll probably end up with an Odyssey or a Sienna. Does anybody know if there's a dual battery tray or a way that I can put both batteries in the engine compartment so I don't have to worry about it? Then maybe I just run like some 12-volt circuits out of there or something. Or alternatively, I'm probably going to be building some shelves or storage or something into the van. So I do have space to put a battery box. I don't really want the thing in the cab with me, but I figure if I'm not doing lead acid, if I'm doing a gel, or what do you call those? I don't know, AGMs. What's safe to put in the cab with you? Yeah, let me know about that. And I've seen on the Australian sites these battery boxes for the auxiliary battery that has you put the battery in it. They're not even that much money. You put the battery in it, and it's got a bunch of 12-volt outlets. You could buy even more expensive ones that have inverters and stuff on them. That look pretty good. If you have one that you really like, let me know about it. So I got like a box. You put the battery in, and then I can just plug in whatever my 12-volt circuits are that I might need. I would like to see if anybody has seen any good videos or whatever on where to run, because I'm gonna have to run a big fat cable right from the motor into that battery in the cab. I'd love to see safe places where people have put that and ways that they've gone through maybe the firewall or whatever. I would love to see those things. I'm a little bit paranoid about this. Speaking of which, yeah, and fuses. You know, tell me, where do I put these fuses? I'm a little bit paranoid about that. I may not end up with I'm really going to need a backup camera. So let me know what's the easiest one to put in. I seen one that looks like a rear view mirror, and then it has a video in it when you're backing up. That looked awesome, and it didn't look that expensive, at least to buy the parts. But I don't know if these things are hard to run or what. Let me know about backup cameras. One of the things I was going to put in there was a small refrigerator. So I was looking at some of those thermocooler things. But for about the same price, there's this thing called, I think it's an Alpacool. It's an actual compressor refrigerator. And then they showed it plugging into the regular cigarette lighters. So I'm assuming it doesn't draw so many amps that it's going to melt your wiring, but maybe it will. I don't know. Will it? I'd like to know. And if there's something better than that, I seen like the $1,000 Dometics or whatever. I don't want it. I'm not going to buy something like that. And speaking of alternative stuff, I really like that Red Arc company, but holy crap, that BCDC is expensive. I've seen a couple other brands. There was a Sterling, but the one I see a lot of people running, but I don't see much reviews on, is the Renogy, RENOGY. If you know anything about those, instead of using the Red Arc BCDC battery-to-battery charger, let me know. I would like to, because that's a way lot cheaper. If I can get that, I would like to. Okay, so my also, you know, weigh in, guys. I'm kind of between a Sienna and an Odyssey, and something else, 2011 or newer, probably. The Odysseys, you know, they use a timing belt, and I'm paranoid. You know, people put high miles on them, but you know, you always see them saying it's changing between like 60 and 100,000 miles or whatever. So most of the ones I'm seeing are 80,000 miles, and you know, those timing belts just freak me out. It's not like, you know, your old Chevy 350 where you just swap it out. You know, one of my friends can do it at his shop for $1,300. Man, it is not cheap to change that timing belt out. So I don't know if is it even worth looking at these things compared to, so the Sienna comes with a timing chain, and allegedly these timing chains last forever unless you do something really bad. I'm really skeptical on that, because my very first Duster, my second car I ever owned, I was driving to work my first day of work, and my timing chain snapped. You know, like, I'm scared of timing chains, but allegedly these Toyota ones last forever. Let me know if that's even true. I have no idea. But the timing chain issue freaks me out on the Hondas. The transmission things, everybody's always talking about, the VTEC thing. But man, they sure come with a lot more features. I really love a sunroof, and I really love all the power sliding doors and all that. I don't know how much I really need that stuff. I don't. I need a reliable car more than anything else. But man, it sure is neat to have all those conveniences, you know. Like I said, I really loaded one: the sunroof, backup camera, everything, power this and power that, power trunk, the whole deal, you know, with the you know me with my bike, you know. But yeah, let me know. Am I just being too paranoid to rule out the Hondas or what? How important are those power sliding doors? I mean, I could see if I'm carrying a guitar out and then I got to close the thing, I'd be pretty upset. Be nice to have it on a keychain or something. But you know, it gets expensive quick, right? And so that's another question. So I've seen a fully loaded car. It's a 2009, and it's got 50,000 miles on it. Okay. Here, the rust takes things very fast, but you know this thing's got so few miles on it. I'm not really sure. Or get something 4 years newer, 2013, that has 40,000 more miles on it. What do you think? Should I get the 4 years newer or the 40,000 miles less? You know, and plus the one with the less it's completely loaded with goodies. So I don't know. It's on you guys. Let me know what you guys think about that. I have no idea. You know, remember back in the day, I wouldn't buy anything newer than 73 unless it was a Jeep, right? So I don't know this stuff. And back then, you know, changing a timing chain was no big deal at all. You know, but now it's holy crap, man. $1,300 to change a timing chain. That sounds insane. Or timing belt, sorry. And still, I'm looking for, and so's everybody. We're looking for DistroKid managers, Patreon managers, just people who can handle this stuff for bands. If this is you, let me know. I mean, this is something I really need, and I'd love to see. Oh man, okay. So only wimps and moms with kids need power sliding doors. Well, that could be. So this guy has to move drums in and out of cars, so he might know what he's talking about. We'll see. Because I can get a nice, pretty new, you know, no options, no nothing van for pretty cheap. So, yeah, but I don't think it has power sliding anything. Probably has power windows. But yeah, I think that's it. But again, I really need some DistroKid and Patreon help. But I guess I'll talk to you guys next week.